2016, 20-year-old me walked into my first Black student union meeting. I was greeted with warmth, melanin, and a prompt to join in the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing, a song the NAACP officially declared the Black National Anthem in 1919. Nearly 90 years later, on July 1st, 2008, at Denver's State of the City address, jazz musician Renee Marie broke into Lift Every Voice and Sing while the Star-Spangled Banner played in the background. With lyrics like "Facing our rising sun of the new day begun, let us march on till victory is won," Shayna Redmond writes in the spring 2015 Black Music Research Journal that Marie's performance set a new tone of discussion for race and patriotism at the dawning of a post-racial America. But while I was in my Black student union meeting, Colin Kaepernick took the knee. Heard around the world, conversations of race and patriotism have stalled or been actively silenced, and a post-racial America seems like a distant reality. The criticism Kaepernick receives for his protests is indicative of constricting societal methods of demonstrating patriotism that require people of color to subscribe to symbols historically rooted in whiteness. Being that America has stagnated in its conversations on racial progress, it's worth exploring a symbol of the oppressed that has had its history lost in the cultural hegemony of whiteness. So to better understand the Black National Anthem, we'll look at its history, functions, and what this understanding means for the future of our national identity. At the time of writing the song, author James Weldon Johnson stated, "Black people are not far removed from their enslaved past, and a hopeful future is coming." But that was in 1900, and we're still hoping. Now I don't sing in my Black student union, and I'm not singing here. But on November 24th, 2016, Denise Graves sang "Lift Every Voice and Sing" at the opening of the Smithsonian National Museum for African American History. Being that the song has a rich enough Black history to be honored in the museum for it. Well, first, look at how this song became the Black National Anthem. Author James Weldon Johnson writes in his autobiographical work, Complete Poems, that the lyrics of the song were originally written to be performed as a poem on February 12, 1900, in commemoration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday. In a last-second decision, he reached out to his brother, a successful composer in his own right, John Rosamond Johnson, to have the lyrics put to music to be performed by 500 students of color at the segregated Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida. With lyrics like "Sing a song full of faith that the dark past has taught us," the song quickly became a hit. Johnson notes that once he and his brother moved upstate to New York, the song gained notoriety as the children from the Stanton School continued traveling the South, performing at other segregated schools and predominantly Black churches, spearheading its rise to national relevance. Camille Acker writes for Fusion on September 14, 2016, that following World War I, African American veterans returned home to find that despite fulfilling their patriotic duty at war, at home they were still denied the right to vote, still sharecropping, and in 1919, white mobs killed 77 African Americans. To protest these racialized killings, the NAACP officially declared the Black National Anthem to be "Lift Every Voice and Sing" in 1919, more than 10 years before the Star-Spangled Banner became the national anthem in 1931. Now maybe had I not waited until my third year of college to commit to my Black student union, the existence of this song wouldn't be as surprising to me. Still, it's telling that a symbol with such a rich history has had its visibility reduced to predominantly Black spaces. To fully understand the importance and the decline of Lift's cultural relevance, we'll look at the historical functions it served both internationally and nationally. Lift was able to translate Blackness internationally in ways other media could not. Shayna Redmond writes in her 2014 book, Anthem, that Yashuichi Hikita, a Japanese immigrant and member of the NAACP, translated Johnson's song and had it published in a Japanese music journal in the 1930s. This countered the dominant narrative about African Americans that was put forth by the original Birth of a Nation movie. which was super racist. The 2015 Journal for Ethnic and Racial Studies furthers, LIFT functioned as a way for the NAACP to foster interracial and intra-racial cooperation while maintaining the respectability of the organization and Black people. Essentially, as the world was becoming interested in the plight of African Americans, this song legitimized the Black struggle in the US without trivializing it. Now, to track the function of this song on a national scale is to track its decline in national relevance. Dr. Timothy Askew writes in his 2010 book, Cultural Hegemony and African American Patriotism, that the song's popularity peaked in the 1930s. Its decline began in the 1960s. Hillary O. Shelton, Senior Vice President of Policy and Advocacy for the NAACP, explained to CNN in 2010, the common misconception was that LIFT was sung in place of the Star-Spangled Banner. But when sung in conjunction, this song functioned as a way for people of color to carve out their own identity in the national narrative of patriotism. However, in the 1960s, when the Black Panthers rose in prominence, whiteness responded by critiquing all displays of Black culture. From there, opinions split as to whether this song was a national cry for belonging or a radical symbol of separatism. The division over the function of LIFT is what ultimately led to its decline. Now, following her mixing of the two anthems in Denver, Renee Marie stated, "The Star-Spangled Banner speaks of the land of the free and the home of the brave, but this sentiment was not reality for people of color, living in places where the flag was often hung outside of buildings they were not allowed to enter." Using our understanding of displays of patriotism rooted in Blackness reveals two implications about the future of our national identity: repositioning the Star-Spangled Banner and providing counter-narrative to ethno-symbolism. First, in addition to the historical context, a quick reading of both lyrics highlights discrepancy in the universality of these songs. The aforementioned book, Anthem, notes that LIFT positions itself as the more honest and inclusive of the two, with lyrics like, "We have come through a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered." Whereas the Star-Spangled Banner is equated to the maintenance of an already existing American identity as revealed by Francis Scott Key's third stanza. "No refuge could save the hireling or slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave." Understanding the discrepancies between these two lyrics shines light on the notion that patriotism doesn't rely on love for our country, but rather symbols of white supremacy, repositioning the Star-Spangled Banner not as the national anthem, but as the nationalist anthem. This initial critique of the Star-Spangled Banner leads to our second implication: providing counter-narrative to ethno-symbolism. Now, ethno-symbolism is a field of study that emerged from the London School of Economics and Political Science that stresses the notion symbols play in reinforcing nationalism. When juxtaposed, LIFT reveals the Star-Spangled Banner to be an ethno-symbol. But beyond that, it gives us a frame of reference when critiquing other symbols that allow for the constant systematic oppression that take place in our country, such as the Constitution or the Bible. Now, I understand that this song alone won't solve our issues of nationalism, but it gives us a place to start when furthering these conversations outside of spaces like this. Today, by examining the history, functions, and implications of the Black National Anthem, one thing is clear: our contemporary understanding of patriotism needs recalibrating. But from Kaepernick's need to Marie's musical protest, we should be able to agree that a song calling to lift every voice and sing is a song worth standing for.